Hey everyone, it's Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today I thought we'd talk a little bit about meal planning from our pantries. So today I just thought we would talk a little bit about meal planning and from our pantries, so we're able to keep rotating that food, and we want to make sure that what comes in is going out. Stuff isn't getting stuck behind, it's not getting lost. It's things that sit too long. We don't want to throw this away. We have spent so much money and so much time planning these pantries to make sure we have enough. I think it's important to take a little bit of time and think about meal planning. How we do, there are so many different ways to meal plan. I have seen people with big spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff and, page after page to plan out their meals and things like that. And I just don't have time for that. And I have a really simple plan that works for us. And it's really not that elaborate. It's very basic. But I mean, you could use a date book or something like that and write down what you're going to eat each day. We just go off of, we have over here on our refrigerator, I have a little whiteboard, and I will put a picture of it over here. And this, or over here, one of these places. And this little whiteboard, it just has 2 weeks worth of meals. And how I do it is I go through what needs to be eaten next in the freezer. I'll go in the freezer and take 2 weeks worth of meals out of the freezer. And from the big freezer to the little freezer. The little freezer on the fridge is where we're eating for the next 2 weeks. So everything fits in there for 2 weeks. So I dig way down to the bottom. I want to make sure that I'm getting that food off the bottom of the freezer and stuff that's been there the longest. So whatever's been there the longest, that's what we're eating. And so we just make up a really basic plan. These are the things that need to be eaten. So these are the meals that we're going to eat. So we get those eaten over the next 2 weeks. And sometimes I don't feel like chicken on Tuesday. So we might have tacos or we might have something else, but it stays on that list. And once we eat it, I check it off. So I know that's been taken care of. And we have that. And I also keep right beside it, there is just a little notepad, one of those magnetic ones. And every time we take something that out of the pantry or anything like that, we write it down so we can replace it. That way I've got a running list of what we need to replace and things like that. So if I have to go into the pantry and take out pepper and ketchup, or I have to take out a bottle of oil or anything that comes out of the pantry, that little list, when I go out to the store, I'm gonna pick up those items so I can get those replaced and put in the back. And using the meal plan saves us a ton of money. It forces us to be creative with our meals because I don't want to eat the same thing over and over and over. So I'm like, okay, I have hamburger and I have 4 pounds of hamburger we have to eat this week. So I don't want to eat shepherd's pie every day. So I'll try and figure out, hey, we could have lasagna, we can have tacos, we can have enchiladas, we can have shepherd's pie, chop suey, all kinds of meals that we do with ground beef and hamburger, anything like that. So, and sometimes a whole chicken needs to be eaten, sometimes it's just chicken legs. But if we have that, and we know what there is for meat, we can plan our meals. And I'm going to add some rice with this, and I'm going to add potatoes or whatever it is that you have. You want to get those salads eaten up, so maybe we'll have pasta with salad and things like that. It doesn't have to be big and elaborate, but if there's things that need to get eaten up and you don't want to waste them because food is just way too expensive, I cannot stand to waste any food. It just drives me over the edge. I can't handle it. So when I go through the refrigerator, I go through the freezer, and I'm like, hey, these need to be eaten, and we make them happen. But just taking that little time that it takes to write out the list. I mean, I go through the pantry, what needs to go. And, you know, we try to keep it rotated constantly. And if you're in constant rotation, the older food is going to come up first. And I think that's the best thing to do. That way, there isn't anything thrown out. And, you know, if you can keep 6 months to a year's worth of meat, eating up that old meat first is definitely, that's going to be your best. And even like the canned vegetables, I don't always write down what we're going to have for sides, but if we have something that needs to be eaten, like I've got some canned soup that's coming up, it's getting closer to the date, so I'm going to try to work that into the food plan in the next couple of weeks when I do my next food plan. When I go through it, when I see something, I try to make sure, oh, we got to get that eaten, and I'll put it in a special place so it's right in my face and I don't forget it. Because if it isn't written down, I forget everything, and I can't help it. I got too many kids. It's just too much some days. But having all of it, and it doesn't have to be difficult. I mean, I've seen people, they write everything out, every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what they're going to have, and every ingredient they're going to use in every meal. And God bless you if you can do that. Oh my goodness, that it looks like so much work to me. And I try to keep it simple. My whole life, the simpler the better. I am the like, no drama, none of that stuff. You know, keep me a hermit in the woods and I'm happy. Doesn't take much to amuse me, so I'm happy in the woods. But there are a bunch of different ways to do it, and any way that works for you, I think is great. But I really feel that meal planning from your pantry and what you have on hand, it saves you a ton of time and gas from running to the store. And you can always switch a meal up. You know, if you planned on having casserole this week and you just don't feel like it, make something else with that chicken or whatever it is that you have to cook. We write it down to give us ideas and keep us on track, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We really will find a way to cook it and mix it into something else. But just getting through it and keeping it rotated keeps it from not having to waste anything. And that is it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!